So last time we completed our second liberation rite, and if my memory serves me correctly, we liberated Hedwyn as our second party member. So now it's going to get a little bit more interesting. Hedwyn was a relatively easy pick because Hedwyn wasn't special. But now we start getting to the territory where we have to actually start sacrificing actual assets in order to actually keep the whole liberation thing going. Plus, because we went through another cycle of rites, I think we're going to have to enable more Titan stars. So it's going to get even more difficult. So let's continue our journey. The second cycle, well, the third cycle? The third, wait, no. Yes. The third cycle of the rites has begun. You rise early that morning, Food. I trust your stay has been not too uncomfortable. How do I want to even do this? It's like...
Please, Elwood. The comforts of this place are not for us. Fly us forth from here to lower ground. Let us get on with all of this.
Maybe that sounds a little bit too comical. I don't think that's going... I don't like that. The reader here shall do so, once the group is ready. I thank you for your patience. It's difficult. I can only do comical characters that are overly happy about things. Or I can do completely evil in a sadistic kind of way characters. Or smug characters. But I cannot do characters that live in the bog. Also, we're going to meet up with the Chastity here, aren't we? I think I picked Chastity because I didn't want... Oh. A gloom hangs thick above the pit of Melith and all around it. You are brave to seek your adversaries here again, Rita. Many in the downside believe it to be nothing other than a foul den. They take the tales of Isla Astralborn to be mythology, embellished through retelling over time. You have met others, such as Witch Odmilda, who believe otherwise, although, whichever their beliefs, I know of none who would go near the place unless the stars demanded it. Thus shall your coming rite against the Chastity take place in complete secrecy, as always the rites have. Yeah, we picked Chastity because they are the ones I want to make sure we don't end up against in the liberation rites, although the alternatives were not good. There's a morbid yet potentially lucrative task along the route. Falcon Ron has a special offer. Or Pamitha. Let's do something lucrative. I don't really have anything to buy right now. Actually, let's go through Fallowfield because I don't necessarily want to buy much at this point. There are some things I would maybe like to buy, but nothing like too special right now. So let's see what Pamitha has to offer for us today. You arrive again in the muddy bleakness of flagging hands, already anticipating the sinking feeling that comes with the place. This time, Bertrude has something to say for it. Okay, oh god. We shall show ye how to withstand the less pleasant qualities of this locale. I'm going to just do a sort of a whispery, really, like... Yeah, that's going to be better for my voice than just Yeah, I don't think I want to do a character like that. That just sounds like they're about to die. She reveals various salves and minor enchantments that help to counteract the spirit-draining effects of the region, soon everyone is feeling better. But, but for the assurances. This region. Oh, that's actually good! Freaking flagging hands is no longer an issue. And we have a wagon wheel to fix, of course. Wilfred is poring over a copy of the Book of Rites as you approach. Looks up at you and smiles. The Road to Freedom, written in a book that hardly anyone believes exists, and fewer can still read and comprehend. Sometimes I marvel how absurd all of this is, my boy. Tell me something though, I've spent so much time considering the book, but known so few with whom I could discuss it in much detail. You had some time to turn through it by now, so what do you think? Worth all the fuss? This is the only thing that really... well, it's tied to the only way we can get out of here, so let's not judge it too hard. That's my opinion. You only skimmed it, cannot say. The Book of Rites is meant to be experienced and cannot be described. Like I mentioned, I've gone through the Book of Rites. I read through everything on my first playthrough. I haven't really been reading it here because reading that amount of stuff on the stream is a little bit tedious. But yeah, it's fascinating as far as I'm concerned. So Wilfred, the book has fascinated you and possession a genuine artifact from a forgotten time. How much of it is exactly true, and how much of it is scribes' retelling of events? I find it endlessly fascinating to consider, I must admit. He puts away his copy of the book with care. It is amazing that these volumes have survived for all this time, I think. Whatever they are made of has withstood the ravaging effects of time quite well. And if the ideas they're the ideas they contain, they remain rather provocative as well. In there, written plain, how fascinating that its secrets have been kept for all this time. Anyway, you'll have to excuse me for my extracurricular interests in its teachings. I used to teach a version of its history. To have access to the real thing has brought me some small pleasure. Let us be certain to preserve these volumes for whomever shall be next to use them. He turns his attention to the other matters and bids you a good afternoon. It's an afternoon? I didn't notice. We don't have any berries. What a shame. In spite of having checked earlier, you realize the black wagon suffered some damage to one of its wheels. Pamitha is already working on repairs, but not having much luck. I'll never get why you Commonwealth plebs like traveling on wheels. Hours later, with the wheel is fit for travel again, although fixing it seemed to take a toll on her. -1 hope. Aww, call it a day. At least we're not going to suffer penalties for the rest of this journey through the flagging hands. And onwards into the pit of Melith. Okay, who do we have? Yeah, who do we have here? Oh, Pamitha. Hello. You'll find Pamitha by herself again, though her expression is grown darker than her custom. Leave me be, would you, Rita, darling? Trying to get some good and proper moping done here. You're distracting me. Leave me be, Rita, just leave me be, Rita, just leave me be. You don't want to know what's lurking in my heart or mind, but you'll find there isn't pretty. And something about her thought process is different to you now. You know that with her conditioning she can resist your scrutiny, but now her thoughts are laid bare to you. I think she is practically inviting us to figure this stuff out. Plus, we need everyone to be on their best condition once we actually remain there in that lonesome space with her. What is it going to take, I wonder, Tamitha? Shall I just go ahead and kill them all? That would be proof enough, perhaps, about my loyalties to you and to our sisters. Perhaps I ought to start with this. Her eyes and stares at you. Then she smiles sweetly and gives a gentle laugh. You see, Rita darling, my thoughts are rather cumbersome at times. You're just doing that on purpose. Really you are. But do not fear. I have them very well under control. Still, thoughts being the loathsome things they are, I nonetheless cannot fully suppress them. She exhales and looks askance? That's a new word. You know by now why I am in this mess with all of you. You could say I lack Tamitha's sense of commitment, her zeal. She lives only to see your nation overthrown. Or something worse, if she could have her way. Centuries of conflict can be quite emboldening that way, especially when one's sister's leading listness of it myself. I became a pariah, I suppose. I knew Tamitha was going to get herself and others killed someday, so when she was to fly out on this one big mission of hers, I had other arrangements made. But after she was caught, your people did not exactly uphold their end of the bargain. I knew there were such risks, of course, and yet a chance is still a chance. Tamitha was clipped and cast down. A mercy they called it. I did not see it that way. And in my growing protests of her treatment, I was soon enough to follow. She falls silent for a while. I haven't yet decided if I entirely regret my actions, but I do seek Tamitha's forgiveness and wish that she could see my thoughts for what they are, as it seems you can. Then she might realize our nation's people have much more in common than she knows. Sometimes I wonder which of them's the stupider. She brushes past you and out of the wagon for now. So basically now we know why Tamitha is here. So her crime is conspiracy. And of course the motive insurrection. But is it really conspiracy? I mean, she made repeated attempts to make contact with enemy combatants taken into custody. I mean, she said that she protested the exile. Well, I mean, we have pretty much established that the Commonwealth law is a little bit weird. We should not really necessarily be giving too much credit to its judges. Okay, let's see what Ron has to say. Hey guys, come on in, see, now whatever happened to that smiley headwind guy? Did he really get out of here like I've been hearing, or what? Falcon Ron, you are absolutely right about this one. Okay, is there, I think I can sell Headwind's talisman for Nice profits. These ones are still usable. Unlearn any masteries and choose again. I don't think I need any snuff. Is there anything else I might want? Living Flame is not really something... I mean, it could be good if I can roll them. But I'm not really trust... I don't really trust our ability to roll the enemy. Like, extra damage when you're leading. It's a good way to roll, but if you cannot, then... I mean, it's pointless, because then it's just a talisman you can't really use. The Dying Flame is the opposite. It's when you have less health, then you deal more damage. So that can be like an equalizer. But that loses its meaning when our situation is dire, but not as dire as the enemies, so doesn't necessarily help. If banished while possessing the orb, the bearer has a chance to automatically pass it. That might be powerful. That's a cursed one, isn't it? Bearer has -3 hope. And just damage for hope. Banish adversaries by flinging the orb. I don't use that as an ability. Well, the Bearer's Triumvirate, those are paired talismans. That's an Aura Burst when Aura casting or Ward, that doesn't help. Bonus damage for... but that's flinging, I don't want that. Once per rite, if the Bearer's Pyre is extinguished, it is instead restored. That might actually be useful. But we would have to level it up quite a bit to make it actually worth using. Let's buy that and just upgrade the crap out of it, I say. As a like a backup strategy. Okay, that keeps it... that's not enough. I think the lowest damage an enemy can do is like 15. So we still need to level it up quite a bit. That's going to be an expensive one, but we might be able to make use of it. They're leading, Dad! Just look at how much we got this time! Well, you sure did. I gave you like, what, 100 and something. Everything is prepared and the night is just beginning to take hold above the gloomy hollows of the Pit of Melith when Wilfred gets your attention. Rita, I suppose you might remember our first meeting with that manly Tinderstauff. You would be mortified, of course, if you forgot. I would say that he is an embarrassment to my kind, but unfortunately I've known many others like him. We're discontented people, I suppose. Anyway, when last we saw him, you might recall that I avoided him. We're not good acquaintances or anything, but he knows enough people in high places that he could be harmful to our plan should he know of my involvement, and so... Wilfred dons his ritual mask. I shall have to be discreet here. As I am with the Nightwings once again, I can no longer hide from him outright. Perhaps, though, he shall take me for a common sap. Anyhow, it seems to me required at least 5 Titan stars active. Okay, this is where we need to reset everything and just figure out a new strategy. So, Manly is going to be very slow. So anything that does with, like, anything that handles speed doesn't really matter. Tattered Mantle, we can still live with that. Limbless is not necessarily the greatest, but it's not the worst. Extra damage, I don't like that. But that might be the least of our evils. I mean, it's not necessarily that great for them right now, because they are slow.
Time Singer Horn.
Do we want them to recover extra Pyre? I don't want that. Extra quickness is probably not bad here. Okay, well, we're going to have to accept Bylanthius here. And then the question is, do we go Archbeast, Endriga, or Shax? I don't think they have made any advantage of Shax. So Shax is a safe choice because they don't take advantage of us all being banished. So I think this is what I'm going to go with. It's a slightly different combination, but I do want that like Pyre advantage in the early game because I don't want to get rolled. And if I start getting rolled, then I at least have a little bit of extra time to start making amends. So this is my combination for this fight. I don't want to add any quickness to them, because quickness is already a bit of an issue. But with these things, we're making them stronger, but we're not giving them a huge advantage. And Endriga would be like a 30 health advantage in early game.
Much vaunted reader has returned, and it would appear his ranks grow stronger. Consorting with the bog-crone Bertrude, are we?
Yes.
How very strange that you befriended her. At any rate,
My, what have we here? Why the Nightwings? Come to grace us with their presence once again. Do you really believe that you can snatch another victory away from us? You sense Wolfred is reaching out to you. Rita, let us indulge him for the time. Perhaps he shall reveal something we can use to provide a disincentive for his meddling. Just let him keep talking. I shall attempt to remain hidden. My, the colors of those raiments, I mean, they are rather gaudy in this light, I have to say. Though, I mean no offense at this, of course. So, do you suppose the rite is going to commence soon? As much as I enjoy our chats like this, I do have to get going soon. If you must know why, I'm expecting an important message, from the other side no less, come dawn. I hear something is brewing out there, some sort of unrest, huh? So yes, it's a very important message, sent all this way by one of those imp couriers. And I must say, those little things, their services are certainly not cheap. Though I'm sure I could get you a good deal on their services if you wish, perhaps to contact a loved one back home, huh? All I ask, of course, is that you stand aside and let the chastity prevail as well we ought. For I have a date with destiny not long from now, upon the fall of Solium. He continues talking for some time until, at last, the rite is to start. Hold a moment, Rita. The crone Bertrude slithers forth, wearing the raiments of the rites. Now that Bertrude is among our ranks, it would be best if you became familiar with her repertoire. You have no obligation to make use of her abilities, of course. Good Bertrude, please show the Druida something of your aptitude. We expect thou shalt soon be soon inclined to bring our sorceries to...
the bog-crone Bertrude shows herself in full. Now I have to wonder what became of her accomplices. of one accomplice in particular. You watch yourself around her, reader. None are sentenced into exile without sufficient cause.
Yeah, except we already know that some people are sent in here without sufficient cause. Release while flashing to power blast. Oh, right, it's like that. T to proceed.
Now then, reading one, know that our freedom is of little consequence to us. We side with ye because Sandalwood, because of his plan. We shall aid ye in the rights, and we shall aid ye in that plan. Thus we are at thy disposal, and await thy bidding.
Oh, my, look at this wonderful assembly of exiles come from all different corners, huh? Such a colorful retinue for Unitewings have. You know, I heard the most preposterous rumor about you, that you're harboring an especially notorious criminal, one who has designs upon the Commonwealth itself. Yeah, pretty much, Neschan. Hamita was because she was a nuisance, and say because, you know, inconvenience. And Gilman was sent here because Gilman asked. Basically. Yeah, Bertrude is fairly defensive, but she can also play mid. That's my experience with Bertrude. So basically, Bertrude can go for offensive attacks. It's just that you need to play aggressive, like attack constantly and do those power casts, and the power casts are really difficult with Bertrude. He looks right at Wolfred. Manley has intruded on your privacy as you set to choosing your triumvirates. He could not be less welcome. He seems to be searching for someone in your ranks. Of course. Well, I mean, Gilman basically volunteered for exile because Gilman saw that his honor was lost. But technically, Gilman was banished without a proper reason, apart from that which Gilman provided himself. So, like, it's not really, like, real reason. Like, Gilman wasn't a bad person or a criminal. So the logic of beware of this guy because he was sent here, or she was sent here because of her actions, is not really a valid reason, because like it's the logic falls apart when people enter this place voluntarily. We can warn him or ask a bit. But do I want to be polite? That's really the question here. Do I want to be polite to a guy that is fundamentally an asshole? I wish I could do like sarcastic politeness. Like really mock him. In a way that is not really super direct, but like it's implied mockery. Well, I suppose we're trying to get on his good side. Yeah, let's ask him politely. Let's be polite for once. You suggest to Manley that perhaps you ought to check on his own triumvirate in the key moments prior to the rites. Why yes, of course, of course. I was just taking the opportunity to bid all of you salutations, for I so enjoy getting to meet my fellow exiles face to face like this. No, you don't. You don't care, because everyone else is a pleb. Yes, there may be rules against this type of thing, but who's counting, am I right? I'm sure the scribes wouldn't mind if they were here. Anyway, now that you mention it, I ought to go check on my wonderful colleagues. See you shortly, and good luck. Manley leaves at last to play against Kinderstauf. We want fast characters. Also, Bertrude wouldn't really be the worst choice, plus Bertrude has a lot of catching up to do. However, Bertrude is going to need the Ash and Coal. Gilman cannot get any experience bonus. We could also fly. Or Xay. Maybe Rookie plus Xay. It's an interesting combo. Rookie for the speed. Maybe even with the Flame Leech. I mean, Gilman would be more like... Plus, if the Chastity wins, we're going to meet the Chastity in the Liberation Rite, which means we might be able to make use of the strategy here. And Xay are more or less on the same level. But we're going to bring in Bertrude anyway. And let's say Rookie as our fast character, and then Xay as sort of like a mid-range offering. And that means we get double leech.
It is
You are! Because my colleagues of the Chastity and I, we have a trick or two we think shall take you by surprise. Just watch. Uh-oh. Okay.
now begin.
Slippery move. Okay. Oh, how very good of you to stand aside. Oh, very, very good. Just keep that up and I'll be sure to put in a good worm.
The flames of freedom.
Oh, and they don't... Okay, we're still... Ooh. Oh, but no. That was a bit of a lame maneuver. Oh, what a silly thing you are. Oh, I forgot. I forgot about that, but it doesn't matter. Okay, yeah, that's an annoyance for sure. Oh, I forgot entirely that Xay's jumps are quite ridiculous. I should keep that in mind. I should not forget these kinds of things.
Verily.
Ooh, that was a nice maneuver. Jumped on the orb while the orb was...
Didn't see it coming.
Forgotten how good Xay is at this. I keep underestimating her, and it's really a fault of mine. Oh,
Disaster.
not really.
What happened there?
I have no idea, but it's not good. Oh,
Your pyre cannot make much more of that.
it can. We can totally hold on to this. What? What? Okay.
Remember everything that you hold dear.
Okay. Last second save. Oh, right, because...
None left unscathed.
Thanks, Rookie. Oh no, 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 no. Oh. Oh, frick. Oh. Okay, I think we might need to go offensive with...
Quite foul for the Nightwings. Their aim was true, and thus your power.
Well, it doesn't matter.
wanes. Bye now, Bertie.
Oh.
Such a display.
Oh my god, they have made up for the attack we just did. Okay.
And it is done.
Oh, never mind, they haven't.
The Nightwings prevail again.
They hardly deserved it, though, if you ask me.
Oh, hush now.
The right.
Any idea what you've done? Wilfred watches the outburst in silence. Keep spouting off like that, Manly, and you shall reveal all we need to know. You harbor such a fear within your heart there, don't you? Coming from the aristocracy and now an exile, how they must speak of you. What would they think of you if you don't get out? Or even if you do? Wilfred remains deep in thought, studying his adversary. There, I see now. Then Wilfred recedes into shadows. What, my head? Who? Well, I believe there must be some mistake. I have to go. Ta-ta! Fine evening to you now. It's been a pleasure, genuinely so. Manly stumbles away in a stupor. And there he goes. I've lifted a certain burden from him for the time. A bit of mercy for his sake. For my people's sake. As well it should ensure he has no lasting memory of our encounter here. Or running into me. Now let's be off before he catches up with us again. Okay, so just gets
Boundless are the teachings
stopped
of the
again.
scribes. Ancient crone called Bertrude.
Thus our grasp of ancient sorceries grow ever stronger still. So basically the thing is, Hex of Defeat for... she instantly recovers all her stamina. There are no salute things on this tree, so let's go this way.
Of the wild witch revealed. Until the stars align.
Most strange that this one star should be illuminated now. This is not what I expected. Nor I, Wilfred, sir. It appears that the star of Kilmer Rope Collar is illuminated now. It is but another star, except our models and predictions of... You see only a single shining star illuminated far above. It is just as Wilfred indicated. Discern where it leads. Kilmer the Rogue Star. Means we have to challenge the Tempers here. So no choice. We have to meet the Tempers. I don't think the Tempers are to beat the Fate. Also the Fate is still nicely on top here. Which is good because we don't want to meet the Withdrawn. Then we are summoned to the Isle of Kilmer. The deviations held about that place. We'll set forth at dawn, and soon see for ourselves what to make of it. Oh, Bertrude, hello. You're unaccustomed to seeing Bertrude smiling, and yet there she is, doing just that. You soon see why. You have observed before how her manners seem to soften to the degree it can whenever Wolfred is around. If only I...
Flame-resistant inks, Sandalwood. 'Twas the inks themselves which later found a way to burn thy stamping press regardless. Thy written words, they moved us many times, and many of others.
Is that not so? While introducing some of our fellow citizens to new ideas.
Perhaps.
My words would not have reached near half as many were it not for you. Not to mention how I managed to elude them for another decade or so. What good's a stamping press without good inks?
No good at all.
They exchanged so. Bertrude.
Nay, we understand full well. Thou needst not further explain thyself.
There are different kinds of love, Bertrude.
On that account thou hast nothing to teach us, Sandalwood.
Each remains silent for a time. Our hearts, they cannot be controlled, Bertrude. Blessed. She departs without awaiting a response, brushing past you as she goes. Wilfred soon turns away as well, politely bidding you a good evening. Blah. Blah. Oh. Berries. And off we go. Onwards to the Isle of Shoal or Barb Reef. So apparently everyone is talking about among its cursed qualities. It seems this wretched storm means I cannot rightly smoke. One of the downsides of small misfortunes, I suppose. The wagon's triremes seem not to mind, at least. In fact, they seem more animated now even than usual, sir. Perhaps they feel some sort of connection to this place. Tarek, do you suppose the Tempers were able to make it here intact? We ought to have seen it in the stars, though we soon shall know for certain. That we shall. Take us in, please, Rita. Deathless Tempest once more. You make a landing within the Deathless Tempest, far west of where you first breached through the shores beyond. You wonder which sort of celestial landmark lies hidden amid these waters, though for now, you have some time left before continuing onward. Among the eerie stillness of Barb Reef. You still have nothing to show for your efforts today, however, when Bertrude approaches to check in on you.
Thou art most patient, we can see. We wish thee fortune.
Ah, I cannot keep this voice even. I'm making this voice very difficult for myself. Just then your lures ring. Moments later, one of the slippery denizens is in your grasp. You thank Bertrude for her contribution. We have a reef eater. Can be sold. Reader 1, fish 0.
Put them on display. Ye tempt these lands to swallow ye.
She lets out a long breath.
Nonetheless, these trinkets stir our memories, not merely of these lands, but of the country whence we came. To our studies of the heavens and the earth. And he knew where to procure them. In exchange, we were to boil for him our finest inks, a certain recipe, notorious yet secret. Its stain could never be removed. Oh, but the Commonwealth misliked it. 'Twas when we began collecting samples of the regions of the downside, for Sandalwood was ever true to his word. Long have we studied this accursed place, Black Basin, the chaos of the deathless tempest, the richness of the bogs of flagging hands, lands so far away, and yet they call to us. If Molten Melith was able to traverse the downside in its entirety an age ago, then surely it was not beyond reckoning that we could do the same. Furthermore,
she hesitates.
It matters not, Reading One. Thou hast indulged our tales long enough for now.
She slithers away without further explanation. She seems reluctant to discuss the circumstance of her past with Wilfred, yet you sense that she is here by choice. Illegal stamping press operation, and of course the inks. And motive was insurrection, as with about Jodie yet. But like Jodie is the one we knew had been here the longest, at least by logic, but we still don't know how long. But 21 years, that's quite a bit. So that means that Wilfred has been here longer or as long as. Onwards to the Isle of Kaelmer, where we should meet the Tempers. So let's see about that. Here in the steady currents of the Deathless Tempest, you encounter a messenger imp come to deliver news and rumors from the other side. So I think we are going to hear news about Hedwyn. The news this time pertains to Hedwyn, whom you liberated at the fall of Solium. Learn Hedwyn returned safely to the Commonwealth, where he was clothed and welcome, his past transgressions all forgiven. He was to be groomed for our leadership's agents and is working together with them. Thus, the ranks of the revolution grow stronger. Per the messenger imp custom, the last part of the message was transcribed from Hedwyn word for word, and it says, "Keep going, I'll see you here." You thank the messenger imp for relaying this information. Soon your companions are all abuzz about it. I always thought Hedwyn was looking for someone out there back home. Do you think he found her? What do you feel? Find the one he fell for. You did it. No, that's way too deep. He did it. No. He did it.
Of years would a plague.
Yeah, that's how it's done, Hedwyn. Right behind you, chum. News of Hedwyn's liberation fills you and your fellow exiles with newfound resolve. Your companions gain +1 hope for the next rite. Wish Hedwyn luck. Yep. So Hedwyn has not failed us, and has in fact joined the revolution. As we expected, considering Hedwyn was super low. 5 imps? Indeed, let's go check out the planner, if that improves our chances. 38%. I'm not sure if that went up or not, but we're getting close to 50%. So it's almost a coin flip. Let's see what Falcon Ron has to offer.
Well, guys, how'd you find me all the way out here? I mean, this is for extra special customers.
I'm only joking. You're the only customers I got. Sorry, Falcon Ron. Got you again. Only joking about that too. Because I got tons of customers, just they already bought a lot of stuff today and they're not here, okay? Yep. I mean, Hedwyn did make promises, so it was obvious that Hedwyn was going to help us in the revolution. Okay, you can have this, and you can have 3 plus 2 plus 1. So that should allow us to protect ourselves from some attacks. for 2 turns.